I grew up in a small town, Buffalo, Wyoming. I think there's like 4,000 people in the whole town, and I mean 500,000 people in the whole state of Wyoming. So there's not a lot to do when you're at home except for work horses and work cows all the time. You know, my family has a small ranch right outside Buffalo, and as long as I can remember, we've been riding horses. I don't really know anything different. I just remember being 3, 4, or 5 years old and riding the old horses around. We had a horse called Stick, and I think probably everyone in my family learned to rope off that horse. I was lucky enough to just be born into it. My whole life I've been riding and roping and never really been that good at roping. You know, my real passion was the rough stock stuff, but I was always too scared to do it when I was little, and I think I was 15 or 16. I talked my dad into letting me ride saddle bronc horses, and we actually had a rigging and not a saddle. So I talked him into the saddle bronc riding, and we had a rigging. So I ended up getting on my first bareback horse like the day after I decided I wanted to do it, and that's kind of where all this happened. You know, I had Larry Samvik and John Forbes and Mo Forbes and Sandy Bob right there, and then my dad. You know, he was never a rodeo star by any means, but knew enough about it to help me get started, and it was pretty raw and really laid back rodeoing at first. It was all about fun. My first real sport was wrestling, and rodeo was just something that we did in the summer because it was what we all could do as a family. And it was never something that, you know, we were going to take to the NFR someday or go really try to win money doing it. That's where rodeo really started for me and what brought our family together. I went into college knowing that I was not the best bareback rider there by any means, and lucky enough to have a guy in Sheridan give me a scholarship, and we went up there, and I progressed leaps and bounds through the college rodeo scene. And there's a lot of guys that are ready to go rodeo at 18, 19, and the truth is I wasn't. I was kind of late in the game, or slower in the game, not late in the game, but slower, and really took time to progress and fine-tune what I had. It was not a flashy rise to the top. First pro rodeo, I had to have my buddy help me enter because I had no idea how to call pro-com, or we entered Rapid City, South Dakota. I actually started a pretty good ride, and you know, didn't finish very strong, but that was my first introduction to pro rodeo. The next rodeo I go to is Bismarck, North Dakota, and I get lucky enough to win the dang thing, and so I was 80 points on a Mossbrooker horse, and shoot, I think I won like $2,800, and I never thought I'd have to see another broke day, like they say. And 2020, my rookie year, my parents were not super impressed with me. You know, I came home from school that year and was home for about a month or so, and then told them I was going to move to Texas, and they didn't believe me. And I think 2 or 3 days later, I had my stuff packed and was headed to Weatherford. That's where my rookie year started. We went to every Texas circuit rodeo we could go to that fall, and had like 10,001 in the first 4 rodeos I went to, and was all sorts of confident in myself and really ready to not only make the NFR but win Rookie of the Year. I knew that my main goal in my rookie season was to make the NFR, and I knew that if I made the NFR, that Resistol Rookie of the Year title would come with that. I would be lying if I said I wasn't checking the rookie standings all the time, and it was a super humbling and kind of surreal moment when you hear Butch Knowles and Jeff Metters talking about you going to your first trip to the National Finals Rodeo. Along with that, I did accomplish my 2 goals. I made the National Finals Rodeo that year and won Resistol Rookie of the Year. And the Resistol Rookie of the Year didn't set in until later, actually. You know, you qualify for the National Finals Rodeo, but our Resistol banquet isn't until the National Finals Rodeo. So hands down the coolest rodeo experience I've ever had was at my first NFR, and was definitely a Resistol moment for sure. You know, I was round 6 that night, bareback riding's first event. I go out there, I'm 87.5, win the round, getting ready to go out for the Resistol Rookie Award show in the arena, and Trevor Brazil comes up. I'll never forget, he told me that this is a moment that, you know, you'll remember for the rest of your life, and I didn't realize it then, but he couldn't have been more right. It was definitely the coolest rodeo experience I've had so far, and one of the most humbling. So win the Rookie of the Year and roll right into 2021 the week after the National Finals, and You know, we go through 2021 and not be on the bubble like I was the year before, just trying to make the NFR and being a guy that's felt like I was in the hunt for a world championship and in the hunt for the world #1 was super cool, and I felt like I belonged for the first time. 2021, go to the NFR that year, and you know, have a great NFR. I didn't win a round. I really wanted to win a round in 21 in Vegas because I had 2 Texas buckles, but I wanted a Vegas buckle and didn't quite have the NFR I was wanting. There's no secrets about how you got to the spot you're in, and everyone knows what you've done, and hard work is how you got there. So 2022 had a pretty good winter and pretty solid spring. Had a huge 4th of July. Pretty good. I think I won 1st or 2nd at every rodeo that week. Was able to go, you know, from 2nd or 3rd in the world, close the gap basically, and made it a race at that point, and carried that momentum all the way through the end of the year. Went into the national finals, season leader, and you know, everyone dreams of being a #1 guy coming into Vegas and being last out. I was where I needed to be, I thought, as a bareback rider, and went in there and did not have the year that I was expecting, and it was still so much fun. One of the great things about rodeo is the day that national finals rodeo was over, it was a new year. Every year is a new year, and every beginning is something that you can build on. So my main goal this year is a world championship, and you know, it's something that I was so close to last year, and you know, my attitude changes every year towards bareback riding, and my perspective changes every year. 2023 has started off pretty good, and so we're going to go from there. When I'm not rodeoing, my 2 favorite times of the year are definitely October 1st and then whatever day the NFR gets over the next day. I love going home October 1st and going hunting and just being away and being in Wyoming. It's my favorite place to be. After every season's over, I go home and you know, go on an elk hunt, go on a deer hunt, turn my phone off and turn the world off for a little bit. And great thing to go home and kind of reset mentally for the NFR. It's an even better reset after the national finals. You know, Vegas is a rat race, and you're not sleeping, and there's so much adrenaline running through you the whole time, and you know, an emotional roller coaster of ups and downs out there for 12 days, not just 10. To be able to go home and relax and go hunt with my family and hang out and work cows and do all that is something that I really look forward to every year, and something that mentally kind of resets me and refocuses me for the next year. It doesn't matter if I'm going up and down the road trying to make the national finals rodeo, or at home hunting with my buddies, or working cows with my family. I'm a cowboy, and that's just how I live it every day.
We live it every day.